Westfield Memorial Hospital provides high-quality health care to residents of Western New York, offering patients the most sophisticated medical advancements while keeping the ease and familiarity of a community hospital. Support for Chautauqua Sunrise has been provided by WRFA 107.9 FM, Jamestown's public radio station, streaming online 24/7 at WRFALP.com. Low power to the people. Chautauqua Sunrise is made possible by a grant from Fredonia Place, a continuing care retirement community providing dignity in a modern luxury environment. Meter's Restaurant, a family tradition for over 50 years in downtown Ripley, is a proud supporter of Chautauqua Sunrise. Meter's provides all-day dining, banquet services, and custom catering, specializing in pie. Funding for Chautauqua Sunrise is provided in part by the Chautauqua County Industrial Development Agency, with offices in Jamestown, Dunkirk, and Westfield, helping businesses to prosper throughout Chautauqua County. From supporting people with disabilities to enjoy great lives, to providing health care services that are available to anyone, the Resource Center has been improving our county for more than 60 years. Learn more about how the Resource Center makes a positive difference in people's lives. From the Access Chautauqua Studios in Mayville, it's Chautauqua Sunrise. Chautauqua Sunrise is hosted by Doc Hamels and supported by the award-winning volunteers at Access Chautauqua. We are here to share local news, colorful interviews, and events of interest to everyone. Chautauqua Sunrise is broadcast live Saturday mornings each week from 9 to 10 a.m. Send events via email or call us live. Check us out on YouTube and Facebook. And now, from the Access Chautauqua Studios, it's Chautauqua Sunrise.
And we're back. Good morning, everybody. Thanks for joining us here on Spectrum 1301, or if you're listening to me on the radio, or wherever you are in the world, thanks for joining us. I'm Doc Hamels, and you're watching Chautauqua Sunrise. Well, it did rise, as far as I know. I know it seems hard to believe. We haven't been able to see the sunset or the sunrise for what seems like forever. I don't know. I mentioned that we have the 5th season last week, that it's now monsoon season. So it's pretty incredible. We were talking before the show how much water is on the ground and so forth. So pretty crazy. Hey, for those of you who are listening on WRFA 107.9, low power to the people, thanks for joining me Tuesdays at 1 o'clock out there in Jamestown world. I have a really interesting show for you today. We're going to be talking to 2 high officials from a service organization here locally about the work that their organization does for their community. And so stay tuned. You're going to enjoy this. Okay, I want to remind you that this is a call-in show, so therefore feel free to give a call, a comment, question. If your club or organization has something going on, let us know. I have a few here to announce today, and keep sending them. We really do enjoy that. And the number is 716-753-5225. Okay, want to give a shout out to the folks in Cherry Creek. The Growlers and I, we were playing there the other night. We got through the rainstorm just fine, and we had a nice turnout of folks, and we had a good time. So we were at the Cherry Creek Community Park, baseball park there, and that was a lot of fun. Okay, so this just came in this morning into the studio here today, and I want to share this with you. Now remember, everything that I tell you is either believable or unbelievable, so it's your choice. All right, this came from the National Aquatic Nomenclature Society. Say that 10 times fast. The following bodies of water have new designations. Goose Creek and 20 Mile Creek are now Goose River and 20 Mile River. Chautauqua River is now accepting submarines. Did you know that? It's been upgraded. Chautauqua Lake is no longer that, it's now the Chautauqua Sea. Say that Chautauqua. Lake Erie, good news. It's the newest ocean. And the best part of all, Buffalo, Dunkirk, Erie, and our own little Barcelona are now been upgraded to international ports and are accepting cruise line ships. The water level is pretty incredible. I just can't believe how much rain is coming down. And at my house, we have 4 dogs that I have at the moment, and one of them was willing to go out in the rain. The other 2 kind of looked at me. I said, "Come on." Barb had to bring out our dog, carry him right out. None of them want to go out in the rain. I said, "Come on, I gotta go make TV here." And finally, we got everybody out for a couple of minutes, but nobody wants to be out there. Wow, really soggy. For those of you that are vacationing in beautiful Chautauqua County, don't give up hope. There are all kinds of really cool things you can do all over the county, whether it's museums or there's exhibits, farmers market, grab your umbrella. There's one in Westfield, Jamestown. There's things to do here, so please don't feel like you've wasted your time. And tomorrow looks like it's going to be pretty good. So hang in there, everybody. All right, I have a few announcements to share with you, and then we're going to get right to our guests that are waiting anxiously to come on, I can tell. All right, ready, Jeff? Here we go. This is an adventure challenge. Infinity's Ultimate Adventure Challenge. It's running through August 15th of this year. Calling all adventure lovers, Infinity has just the thing to get you out exploring. Okay, this fits right with what I was just saying. Chautauqua County this summer. Infinity's Ultimate Adventure Challenge takes place, well, it's in progress right now. It already started in June. It runs all the way through the end of the summer. All registration donations support music, arts, education for children and teens at the Infinity Center. Okay, and what you do is you pay a little bit of money, and then they give you, I believe, a map, and you go all over the place, and you end up getting a patch, I think. So it's sort of a fun thing to do with the family, and if you're interested, you can go to Infinity Performing Arts. It's all one word, infinityperformingarts.org. You can go to their Facebook page and look it up to join the adventure as well. And of course, if you have any questions, you can always give them a call, 664-0991. Okay? So that's Infinity, our good friends over there. They do really good work with a lot of folks. Okay, we got chicken barbecue. That's this Wednesday, coming up, July 21st. All right, the Prevention Works, right? They are having a Chevetta's barbecue fundraising event this Wednesday at 3:30 to 6:30, and it's going to be at the Chautauqua Mall in Lakewood for, as they call it, Western New York's famous Chevetta's chicken. Good deal, only $12, and includes a half chicken, 2 sides, and a roll with butter, and you pick it up right there only. There's no pre-sales or anything like that, like we were doing last year. Again, 3:30 to 6:30. So why are they doing this? All proceeds help support the Prevention Works, Inc. Their mission is to build a safe and healthy environment by effectively educating the community on positive life choices. Since 1974, Prevention Works, which many of you knew as CASIC, is a United Way partner agency. They provided social, emotional learning and prevention of risky behaviors in Chautauqua County school districts in our local community. Prevention Works is the only New York State Office of Addiction Services and supports approved and supported alcohol and other drug prevention services in Chautauqua County. If you want to know more about what they do, give them a call at 664-3608 or 366-4623. And also you can go to their prevention website, which is preventionworks.us. All right, so chicken barbecue in the middle of the week. Don't have to cook that night. All right, moving along. Jamestown Cruise-In is set for August 6th. There's a picture from a past one. Let's see what they have to say here. Hopefully no tongue twisters. The Jamestown Community Chamber of Commerce is proud to host the return of the Jamestown Cruise-In Friday, August 6th. This is mark your calendar. Working in partnership with Dirk Hobbler's Automobile Association, the Chamber of Commerce will host this fun annual event from 5 to 10 p.m. along 3rd Street between Washington and Spring Streets. Regional collectors of classic cars, hot rods, and special vehicles will display their cars and trucks. The evening will also feature live music, and the Babe Ruth World Series Committee will sell hamburgers, hot dogs, and Pepsi products, so you can get to see all these really cool vehicles, and you get something to eat as well. Downtown businesses are encouraged to offer extended hours and specials for the evening. This is sort of like in Westfield, they do their First Friday kind of idea there. Chautauqua County Chamber of Commerce President Dan Heitzenrader says the following: "We're proud to be working again with Der Cobblers to offer this great event. We know the community missed it last year, and it's good to see a return of these kinds of events to the city." All car collectors are invited to show off their vehicles, from antique autos to souped-up classics to high-end contemporary cars. Jamestown Cruisin' is proudly sponsored by Alstrom Schaefer Electric and M&T Bank. Lenny Carlson, director of the Jamestown Public Market, is helping the Chamber of Commerce to put on this event this year. Additional details will be announced as the event gets closer. Cars can be pre-registered online through the Chamber's calendar of events at chautauquachamber.org, or you can register right when you're there on site. All vehicle registrations are $10. That's pretty cheap. Advanced registration is strongly encouraged. Make sure you get a spot there. All cars must enter the cruise-in at the corner of 3rd and Spring Streets, and check-in begins at 4 p.m. Again, August 6th, 5 through 10, the Jamestown Cruise-In comes back. All right, it's almost here. The Gary Fire Department is voted to open the gates for their 76th annual PRCA Rodeo for 4 performances. And let's keep our fingers crossed it's dry for all these events. They're running August 4th through the 7th. So one day you can go to the rodeo, one day you can go to the car show. It all works out. Rodeo Chairman Tom Atwell says that the decision is due to the restrictions related to the pandemic slowing, being lifted, making it possible under state regulations at the time to safely bring professional rodeo back to the area after a year's absence under state regulations in effect at that time. 76th annual. Wow. Painted Pony Championship Rodeo of Lake Lucerne, New York will again be bringing more than 100 head of their stock to challenge the more than 200 contestants from across the country who will be competing for $50,000 in prize money. A new event, Cowgirls Breakaway Roping. I don't know what that means, but Cowgirls Breakaway Roping is being added to the 7 traditional events, that being saddle bronc, bareback bronc riding, tie-down roping, steer wrestling, one of my favorites, team roping, bull riding, and cowgirls barrel racing. Greg Simis, one of the nation's top rodeo announcers, who is presently announcing rodeos across the Southwest, is returning for his 9th year to keep this action moving in the arena from his seat on horseback. Adding to the festivities, the return of the Rodeo Hall of Fame funny man Keith Isley, who has been named Comedy Actor of the Year on numerous occasions. Crowd favorite bullfighter Phil Hussman will again be risking his own safety to protect the Cowboys in the bull riding. Atwell says he expects a larger number of contestants this year since there were so many rodeos canceled last year. Makes sense. And those cowboys and cowgirls are trying to make as many rodeos as possible to make up for last year's losses. This is their bread and butter. That's how they, pay the bills. The traditional barbecue beef dinners will continue to be part of this year's events, although Atwell says some modifications may have to be made depending on state regulations at the time. I don't know exactly what the regulations are at the moment, but we'll probably hear it when they're on the show here soon. He further adds that the rodeo committee will have to put in much extra time and effort due to the late decision, but he's sure that many volunteers will pitch in to get everything ready to make this a real celebration and one of the best rodeos yet. More information, give him a call at 985-4847 or 888-985-4847. And Justin, it's not too late to sign up for that Bronco riding competition.
No.
How about sign up your dad?
No.
A little Father's Day present. You'd enjoy that. All right. Dude, no, you got to be sanctioned to do all that stuff. Anyways, Gary Rodeo coming up August 4 and 7. We'll be talking more about that soon. Okay, wait, one more slide I want to talk about, and we'll pop that up. All right, this was a late arriving one, and I know you can't read it very well, but maybe you can at your on your screens at home. Basically, there's a very lovely young lady, Lauren Bills, who spoke recently at a meeting of the Westfield-Mayville Rotary Club, and she presented a project she's working on this summer, and she's dealing with the Oshai Hospital. It's kind of a combo project, and she's doing a school supply drive for less fortunate families that maybe don't have the means to get the school supplies that are required. And this would go out to the Westfield community and those around, but this is a list of things that they're looking for. They're basically paper, pencils, erasers, crayons, and so forth, but there's specific brands that they're looking for. But if you're interested, you can contact Lauren with her email address, or you can, if you know Shannon Bills, her mom, or Bill Bills, they can give you more information, or the school, I'm sure, can help you out as well. But they're looking to collect some things, and I said I'd be happy to promote that. Okay, so thanks for bringing that up, Jeff. I think that's it for announcements, so we're going to take a little breather. This announcement is for you.
Thank you. You got a key?
Go fish!
The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today.
You know, I just, watching that little PSA right now just reminds me of what it was like in my house with my kids. Still is actually, when the kids come over, somehow we end up playing cards. My daughter and I, we like to play euchre, and she's leading me in the summer roundup here. It's 2 for Stephanie, 0 for Dad. I think I taught her too well how to play that game. But anyways, taking time, playing cards, especially on a rainy day, is just a great activity. Gives you the opportunity to sit around and talk a little bit, and also pick on your dad. Okay, I promise you we have a great show in store, and we do. I've got 2 friends of mine today that are here from the Westfield-Mayville Rotary Club, and I asked them to come in to talk about what it's all about. The other day somebody asked me what's Rotary, and I started to give a little explanation. But we're going to give you the full shot here today. We're going to go into great depth because many of you who are watching right now may be very interested to be a Rotarian like myself. I want to welcome to the show Mike Harrington, who is the vice president of the club, and Dan Smith, who is the president of the club. Good morning and welcome to the show. And congratulations on your election.
I won by a landslide.
Well, I've been in Rotary for a long time, and I'm proud to say I'm a Rotarian. And I'd like to start with Dan, since you were gracious enough to take on presidency this year, and you've been president before, right?
I have been.
Okay.
After I was a Rotarian for, I think, about 2.5 years, they said, you have to go through the officer chairs and learn about Rotary, and then you're going to be president. So, but that was good because
But that was it.
That's not.
But that's not required, right? You don't have to.
No, not anymore.
Right. Things have changed a lot, and a lot of people may have a old conception of what Rotary is. So let's see if we can let everybody know what Rotary is in 2021 here. So, Dan, what do you do for a living? What do you do?
Well, I have a software business in Westfield called Plantrol Systems, and most of our customers are across the United States. And but we do service local businesses with managed care services for their PCs and servers and networks, that type of thing. But primarily, we do customized software for business forms manufacturers. Many of you may have remembered when Belknap Business Forms was in process, and Belknap was Plantrol's very first customer. But it grew from there, and it grew from the East Coast, particularly in the New York metropolitan area, and Buffalo, and particularly in Ohio, has a lot of forms manufacturers, and out west, and down south as far as Atlanta and Texas and Florida. So we have a number of customers throughout, and fortunately for us, we are all techies, so we are able to support our customers remotely, and all of our employees are now fully remote, so we can do it that way as well.
So it sounds like you got a really busy job and career and business, and how do you find time for Rotary? Why did you get involved with Rotary?
Well, I make time for Rotary because it's something I want to do. I got involved first in Rotary because I was in Westfield, and I was not a Westfield native. I live in Bemis Point. I really didn't know an awful lot of folks, and when I was invited, I was, I felt very flattered because Rotary is such a prestigious organization. But I found it very interesting because it allowed me to now meet the people in the area, not only in Westfield, but in our service area, Mayville, Brockton, Portland, Ripley, Sherman. So I quickly was able to, form a lot of new business relationships and networking, which is what a lot of folks think about Rotary is networking, and it is professional, and it is very, very interesting because Rotary is built on vocations, and everybody has a vocation, whether they're an educator, a police officer, a banker, a lawyer, an attorney, but we have nurses, we have healthcare officials, we even have people like me that are business executives, programmers, and that sort of thing.
Yeah, everybody.
But it did open up the area to me, and I found that very, very worthwhile. But then I found out a little bit more about what Rotary is about. And it's more than just having lunch and kibitzing with local folks. It's about that Rotary members feel and believe that they have a shared responsibility to take action. And that's what we want to do, is take action on our world's most persistent issues. Now, this is not just local, and you'll hear about it locally, but worldwide. Rotary is a worldwide organization, has 1.2 million members. That's a lot. 1.2 million members. But their primary focus is to promote peace, fight disease, provide clean water, sanitation, and hygiene, save mothers and children, support education, and grow local economies. But as a club, how do we fit into those big global aspects? Well, our club is a club of action. And when I was asked to become president, I thought, well, that's a big responsibility. But I'll tell you, what's really makes it easy is that our club members are people of action, and they make being president easy. We say, oh, let's try this, let's do that, and they all say, let's do it now, and let's get it done. So,
Okay, let's hold that thought.
okay,
Okay, we'll come back to that. I want to welcome Mike Harrington officially here. And Mike, what's your background?
I'm now retired. But
That's a good thing. That's a full-time job,
Yes,
though.
yeah, it is. I was an executive in telecommunications. And I was responsible for engineering. Well, it was Fairpoint Communications at the time. It's now Consolidated. But we had services in 17 states. I had personnel spread all over the nation. And toward the end, I was also responsible for operations in New York, Pennsylvania, and Ohio. And as a result, there was extensive travel to get out to all of the service areas, or many of the service areas. And then a lot of the the prime vendors, a lot of them out in California, Texas, and some down in Florida. But I was in the telecommunications industry for, I think it was 43 years or 44 years.
So with all that, how did you get time for Rotary, and why did you get in Rotary?
Well, I'm relatively speaking a newcomer to, I consider myself a newcomer to Rotary. I joined in July of 2013.
Well, that's still 8 years.
Yeah, it is, but I mean, Rotary's been around since 1905, first established in Chicago. And our club is 92 years young. It was established in 1929.
Right.
But the trigger for myself and for my wife, who joined a little bit earlier than I did, is we were asked to be Rotary Exchange host family. And so we had the distinct honor and pleasure to have Omar from Mexico be with us. And normally with the Rotary Exchange, a student would be with a family for like 3 months, go to another family in a whole bit. We ended up having Omar for the entire year. And it was fantastic. It was great. And Adele, my wife, says that he's her son. And I've got 2 boys myself, and he's come up to visit us a couple of times already. So it was because of Omar, and then him coming to speak before the Rotary Club and whatnot, and we would attend as well. I found out more about Rotary myself, and I'd known about Rotary for decades, but got really interested, and then in 2013 I joined. I was still traveling intensely and the whole bit at that time, but I was able to make some meetings, and then retired. What was it? 2018, early 2018. So that changed the availability part of the equation. But I've served as on the board of directors, president, like Dan, president-elect.
Your second time going through?
Yep. I'm now currently president-elect, and the second time around, and things have changed over the last year or so, particularly over the last year or so. I think obviously a lot of it is because of the pandemic, but our club now meets twice a month as opposed to 4 times, well, every week, I should say.
Which was a traditional Rotary Club did.
Right.
Every Tuesday at such and such a time, right?
Yep. So, that changed the dynamics quite a bit. It's like twice a month. And during the pandemic, we relied on Zoom to do remote club meetings and the whole bit. And just recently, because things have been getting better, we are now operating in a hybrid mode.
So how long does a meeting last, generally?
Generally, maybe an hour.
So that's about a small commitment, 2 hours a month.
Right.
And so what do you do at a meeting?
Well, we try to start sharply at 5 p.m. And it's on, was it the 2nd and 4th Tuesday of the month, I believe.
Correct.
Currently, we're meeting at the Y,
In Westfield.
Y in Westfield. And what we do is, if we have a speaker, we'll have the speaker come on first, and that may last for like 15 minutes, maybe 5 minutes.
On a certain topic of interest. Okay.
Yep. And in fact, this last meeting we had Mike Ricketts, Habitat for Humanity, speak with us, and that was a dynamic talk. But follow up with some questions, and then currently, like with Dan, he'll make announcements and the whole bit, and we can have we call them happy bucks, where if somebody has good news they want to share with the rest of the club membership or whatnot, we'll share that and throw in $1 to that's our happy buck. And what was it? I think after that, it's more or less closing comments and a whole bit. Oh, and then we'll discuss projects that we've got going. In fact, weather permitting, we're going to be working on a project Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday down in Westfield. We'll have to see. I think the weather is starting to look a little uncooperative for Monday, but we'll have to see.
And that project is?
Repainting the gazebo in Moore Park down in Westfield. The village has, they've done some repairs, they've done scraping of the gazebo, and I guess they spray painted up in the top, up in the roof where we can't get to all that easily. But then we're going to do the painting of the rest of the gazebo. So
very good. Okay, so twice a month, an hour, and then you do projects, it sounds like. That's what I'm hearing so far. If you could ask people probably 10 years ago what did a Rotary Club look like, they'd say a bunch of old fat men sitting around smoking cigars, eating. I think Rotary has really changed. And Dan, I kind of stopped you at that point because you were just getting into the meat. So I'm going to let you talk about more about what Rotary does.
Well, thank you, John. One thing I want to emphasize that it's not just old fat men anymore. There are lots of attractive young women. So women have been brought into Rotary since 1992, I believe.
Before that, it was only men, right?
Before that, it was only men. And they certainly have made a huge difference in Rotary because women are very active and they want to do things. But some of the things that we do, we have 3 avenues of service, and one of them is community service, where we do things locally, and I'll go into that in just a second. We have international service, where we work on things with other clubs and Rotary International to do things globally. And we also have vocational service, which has more to do with vocations and education. And we'll talk about that in just a little bit. But first of all, let's start with our community service, because that's what most of you hopefully see. And this, if they can shine in on this a little bit, so you could kind of see that a little bit. But
There we go.
as I said, we're a club of action, and what we do is where we are not just handing out checks anymore, but we have members do projects locally to help around. You know, we do holiday cards to veterans. This past year we did about 2,000 cards to veterans and people that were shut-ins and that sort of thing. And it made a big difference in their world. That many of them are alone, and we certainly were able to touch many lives and their families.
Now, is it true that you're still collecting Christmas cards? I hear that they need cards. I was going to start talking about that later on in the year, but I think you're collecting unused Christmas cards with envelopes.
With envelopes.
Yeah, that's the key, I've been told. Okay,
Yes.
so if you know Rotarian, get your cards to them, because a lot of us have those cards that we don't use anymore. Okay, keep going.
Yeah, okay. Well, there's lots of other things that we do. We help various organizations with their projects. That might be, for example, in Sherman over at the Yorker Museum. We helped out quite a few of the local cemeteries in their spring cleanup and that sort of thing. One of the big things was the Lake Erie watershed cleanup project, where we went to Barcelona, and I forget what the number of pounds was, but it was, I think it was over a ton of debris that was taken out in some of the local waterways. And this is a much larger Rotary project for our district and for Rotary International, is to clean up our waterways. And that's something that we, Rotary does. We worked at and assisted at the Red Cross blood drives, which I think was one of the more exciting things that we have done. Also, for the folks that are in skilled nursing facilities, you know, they don't have access to a lot of things. And one of the things that we did was we brought them puzzles and activity books so that they had something to, little projects that they could do. We also planted trees out in Sherman.
I heard about that. That was a lot of work.
One of the things that I'm particularly very proud of is our youth services, and one of the parts of youth services is that we have a Scholar of the Month program, and I'm sure many of you have probably seen some of the articles in the paper about Scholars of the Month. Now we call it Scholars of the Month versus Student of the Month to sort of distinguish ourselves. But each month, in a normal year without the pandemic, we would have one student from our service area, Westfield, Chautauqua Lake, Sherman, and Brockton.
And Chautauqua Lake covers Ripley as well.
Yeah, Chautauqua
Right.
Lake covers Ripley, and Brockton covers Portland, of course.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, they would come to our club. The school would select who their senior was for that particular month. They would come to our club. We'd invite their parents. Then we'd have a meeting, and we'd highlight, about that scholar, and we would read their bio. They come to our meeting. We present them with a frame certificate, and many of you saw the publicity and recognition that they receive in the papers. We also do scholarships, and for those scholarships, presentations or honors night, we also highlight the scholars of the month again. But this past year, we were able, even with our limited fundraising ability, to provide scholarships to 8 students in those schools. Approximately $2,400 for that. But anyway, the service that we've done is maybe about 400 hours just for some of these projects that you're seeing. And, it's not a direct dollar amount that's going to these organizations, but of labor value, you could say that it's over $11,000, and that's significant to some of these smaller organizations. So we want to be able to join in with that.
So if I understand you right, Rotary provides helping hands, hand up, and it's free of charge because you're volunteering your services. And I think I had brought this up years ago that you can look up what a volunteer hour is worth, and if you calculate that figure against how many hours you worked, that's how you come up with your $11,000, right? You said scholarships and monies and stuff. Mike, where does all that money come from?
Well, it comes from fundraising, and also from Rotary membership dues. But most of the dues is for administrative type costs,
Right.
and whatnot. But fundraising is it's an important avenue of resources for us, above and beyond the volunteer time that we put in. Dan, I think, was putting up something as some of the financial support that we provided is like the Children's Safety Village.
Okay.
And we're hoping to maybe even have one of our meetings at the Safety Village. We were just discussing that. Then earlier, well, I believe it was 2020. I believe it was maybe March or April. Our club was able to, with the assistance of a grant, to provide Westfield Memorial Hospital and Absolute Care in Westfield with protective equipment and as well as a hand sanitizer. Then we've provided some resources, some monetary resources to a couple of schools for like graduation events or for after prom events and whatnot. Then we've also supported the Westfield School Star Program.
That's a reading program, as I
Yes,
recall.
yep. It's been around for a long time. I remember when our kids were part of that. Chautauqua Hospice and Palliative Care provided a donation to the Westfield Recreation Program for the Welch Pool. Funds to Westfield Memorial Hospital. And as Dan had indicated before, scholarships to the 4 area schools. And then there's Slapshot. It's, I want to get this right, Student Leadership Award Program for students high on training. This past year, it was done virtually. Usually, they take some students up into Canada, and they'll have a week-long session in the winter, where they learn leadership skills and a whole bit. And we had a student that participated in the virtual training this year, and he was a speaker at one of our events. Very, very dynamic young man.
So you're helping youth get to the next level.
Yes, yes.
So it's a good ladder system. You're promoting each other.
And then Rotary International support. One project that I'm particularly proud of our club doing, and has a little bit of age on it. I think it was I think it ended maybe when I was president the first time. That would have been 2016, 17. We were blessed with an area anonymous benefactor who had pledged that they would match up to $10,000 if we raised $10,000. Not the normal stuff that we did, but something very unique, and it was to address polio, polio plus type challenges. So our club pulled together a number of different fundraisers, and they were different and above what we normally did, and we raised a little over $10,000. The benefactor matched it, and then when we put that forward to Rotary International, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation doubled the match.
Woo.
So, we turned an initial $10,000 into like $60,000. And, that all of that went to addressing polio.
And that's a lot of little drops of immunization that kids are getting. And my understanding, Dan, is that polio is almost eradicated in the world, right?
Yes, there are only 2 countries that have that, and that's Afghanistan and Pakistan. But let me just give you a little bit of insight about that $60,000. That $60,000 creates a lot of doses of polio, and a dose of polio runs about 60 cents. So that means that we had a direct effect on saving 100,000 lives in the world. And I think that's very, very impactful.
Just the club of Westfield-Mayville.
Just the club of Westfield-Mayville.
Club. And the club's what, about 24 people, something like that?
Yes, that's about right.
We're not talking hundreds and hundreds. We're talking about people that are dedicated to do something good in the world, right?
Absolutely, and that's what makes Rotary fantastic, I think, is that you can't do that all by yourself. You just cannot possibly do that by yourself. But if you have a group of folks, you can do many more things. You can leverage your enthusiasm for doing good in the world. I mean, could I have 100,000 lives saved all by myself? I don't think so. But as a group of Rotarians working together, we can do great things in the world.
Super. Folks, you're watching Chautauqua Sunrise. I'm Doc Hamels, and my guests today are Dan Smith and Mike Harrington from the Westfield-Mayville Rotary Club. And we're talking all things Rotary, right? And so far, I hope you're getting the sense that Rotary is a really cool organization to be part of. Now, the question I have for you guys, and I don't care who jumps in, you can do whatever you want. You mentioned district. I think you both mentioned the word district. Who can talk? What do you mean by district? How's Rotary organized?
I'll take that.
Okay.
Rotary International was first established in 1905. And by the way, I came across a little tidbit of information. The name Rotary came about because they were rotating the meetings amongst the business executives that were part of it.
So this was Paul Harris in 1905,
Right.
got a bunch of his friends together, and they would go from, office to office?
From
Having
business
lunch or
office to office, yeah. So Rotary had, a fundamental meaning for them back then. Rotary International, like Dan had indicated earlier, you got 1.2 million members, somewhere around 200 countries that they're in, 32,000 clubs.
Wow.
But Rotary International as an entity, then there's multiple districts. I don't remember how many there are, but we're part of District 7090. It's an international district spanning western New York and up into Ontario and whatnot, just above Niagara Falls. One of the very, very few international districts, in fact.
Something like 69, 68 clubs, something like that?
It's in the 60s. I forgot how many.
68, I believe.
68. Okay, so there's quite a few thousand members that I would think.
Yeah, I would say at least. And then there's Area 16, which encompasses a few clubs in our immediate area. Dan, help me. It's
Dunkirk, Fredonia.
yeah.
Two in Jamestown, Jamestown AM, and Jamestown Noon Club, as well as Falconer.
Falconer, yep. Oh, and Dunkirk, Fredonia.
Right.
So we're part of really large organization. And the other part of it, it's kind of separate a little bit, is the Rotary Foundation. And the Rotary Foundation has, I mean, that's a massive contributor to worldwide types of initiatives and the whole bit.
Let's hold that thought. I have a phone call, so we'll come back to the foundation. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, Mike, and good morning, gentlemen. This is Linda Spalding.
Hey,
Good morning,
Lynn.
Doc. It's great to see people get on that belong to and organized volunteer organizations. I have been a guest speaker and and I support the Rotary. You do great work.
Thank you.
Although I'm a member of one of your other fellow organizations, the Lions Club. But
There you go.
we still support you very much.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And you have great chicken barbecues, another wonderful event.
All good stuff.
All good stuff. I particularly like going to your Dunkirk meeting site at the Dunkirk Country Club. I've gone there.
Too close to the TV.
I'm going to have to go in the other room. I don't know why we're getting this howling.
She does her Jimi Hendrix imitation once in a while.
Is it time for the Star Spangled Banner?
Do you find that it's difficult recruiting volunteers now?
To do
For
projects or
for
club?
any organization?
Oh, yeah. You guys,
Well,
go ahead.
I just like to say that part of the reason that we're here is that we want to spread the word about how Rotary does good, and I mentioned about that Great Lakes cleanup a little bit ago, and not only was that by Rotarians, but we had non-Rotarians volunteer to help us out with that. So you don't have to be a Rotarian to help a Rotarian and help the world.
Yes.
So you don't have to be a member to help in a Rotary project. So
Yeah, that's a great opportunity and a great perspective for people. We do that. I don't know what. I don't think it's my phone because I've got the volume down to 0.
You just,
I don't
just
know.
can't be near the TV. That's all.
I'm not. I'm in the kitchen. I'm almost outside.
turn off the microwave.
I don't have anything on. But congratulations on the great work that you do.
Well, thank you,
you.
Lynn.
Thank you very much.
And I will definitely continue to support you. Have a great weekend, and the sunshine is coming soon, I understand.
All right, thank you. Okay, two quick things. I think Lynn pointed out that although she's not a member of Rotary, she supports Rotary, and I think we need to remember to thank folks that buy the tickets, that come buy the chicken barbecues, that do whatever, that support us as we support projects. And on top of that, we have a special photograph that I have to share right now. It has nothing to do with the Rotary, but has to do with one of our staff here. There's our good buddy, Randy Burt, who's on an airplane going, he's at 32,000 feet over Pittsburgh, heading towards, I guess, Orlando. So, Randy, safe flight. We'll see you next week, hopefully. And don't burn the bean. You gotta wear a hat, I hope. Huh?
Next week he's going on.
Oh, he won't be here next week either. All right, the man's all over the place. Anyways, little comedy relief there. Okay, so, Mike, you were talking about foundation.
Rotary Foundation, it's, I don't know how many $1 billion the foundation has donated, contributed to various initiatives worldwide. But it's one of the it's probably the most reputable.
Highly rated. I
Yeah,
know
it's
that.
very, very highly
4-star rating.
rated. Yeah, and we've participated in certain. Well, for us, it's been district grants, and where we've had a couple of grants that were used to fund water wells in Niger. That's where the people, the communities could get clean, fresh water, and girls that were normally, left to haul the water and therefore not able to attend school or whatnot, are then able to, since it's a local water source, they can now attend school. So it's multifunctional. It's hygiene, sanitation, education, caring for children.
So that's where you get into the international side of things, right?
Yep.
Right.
Now on the local side, We've done some local district grants. I won't go into too much detail right now because it's not officially approved, but we have applied for a district grant in conjunction with the Westfield YWCA. Hopefully, we'll get official approval, and assuming that we do, I'm hoping that we can be invited back to your show again.
Consider it done. When you get this official, we'll schedule sometime this fall. Okay.
Yeah, just a little bit of a tidbit, just so people understand.
Teaser.
It's titled First Aid and Elder Care Awareness Training for Young Adults and Millennials.
Ooh, sounds pretty interesting to me.
It's
well needed, I think.
It started out as being something along the lines of first aid or whatnot, and it morphed into something that's really dramatic.
Okay. We'll stay tuned on that. Dan, I have a question for you now.
Okay.
All right. So people watching right now, and they're going to be watching anywhere in the world. So Rotary's everywhere, because
Okay.
I've traveled pretty extensively, and everywhere I go, there's a Rotary Club, whether it's in Spain or Germany or Italy or Connecticut. It doesn't matter. They're everywhere. How do you join? Do you have to be asked? Can you ask to join? How's that work?
Well, that's wonderful, John, because that was where I was going as
I
well.
had no idea.
But, the people that can join, we want people that want to be able to give back to their communities. That's the first thing. And you don't have to be, don't forget, we have young Rotarians, we call them interactors, and we support 2 interact clubs, one in Chautauqua Lake and one in Brockton. But that's for high school students. But past high school, in college, we have what's called Rotaractors. So there's a lot of involvement that young folks can have, before they get out on their first jobs or to join the community and, life as we know it. But anyone can join. We want to find people that want to give back to their community. And one of the things that very much impresses me with all of the youth services that we do, and we read those bios at the meetings and how energetic these young folks are. They are involved in community projects and they want to give back to their community. They're looking for ways to make a change in the world, and those are the people that we want to join Rotary, because we think that almost anybody wants to be able to help their community and make changes in the world to make it better. So that's what we're looking for.
Okay, so people watching right now say, I want to join Rotary. What do they do?
They can call me. My number is 716-269-9900. Now you can also go to our Facebook page, which is Westfield-Mayville Rotary Club.
They contact me here at the studio.
They can contact you. They can contact any Rotarian that they know, like Mike. All right. We actually have a mailing address for people that are more comfortable with saying, hey, send me more information. We're at P.O. Box 175 in Westfield, New York. And you can also go to rotaryinternational.org. Now that is Rotary International's website, and they have all kinds of information there. I mean, you could spend half a lifetime looking through it all, but you can find things in there that would be of interest to you, and there's also a section in there that you can go through and look where you could join a Rotary Club and send information to.
You know, you described a little bit of the types of people that might want to join. True or false? I find the majority of people that I know want to do good in the world and want to help others. What do you think? True?
Yeah.
I think majority of the people that I know.
I think that's...
You know, the media, and I'm part of the media, so I'm trying to counter some of that feeling, is that people are good and that there's a small percentage of people that aren't in that category. They get all the news. But Rotarians and Kiwanians and the Lions Clubs and all Knights of Columbus, Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, whomever, they're doing really, really good things in there. And just imagine if in this world, if none of those organizations existed, whoa, we'd be in trouble, right?
Yeah.
Because people are helping people. To join, what's involved? What's the next step? Okay, I'm ready to join. What do I do now?
Well, we would have our membership chair. His name is Pete Bills, and
Pete Bills.
also assisted by Patty Benton. Contact you and talk more about what your interests are in Rotary and how you would make an application. It's just basically filling out your primary information, and part of it is an exchange of information. You know, what does Rotary do? What are your obligations to be a Rotarian? All of those sort of things, so that, you know, once you have said, okay, I want to get involved in helping people in the world, and locally, and internationally, and that sort of thing. And then, you know, there's some obligations with any organization that you belong to. You need to participate. I mean, you're getting into it because you want to do something, and I feel, and this is my personal opinion, is that Rotary has all kinds of avenues for somebody to find an interest in ways that they can impact the world around them, their local community, educate youth, just all kinds of projects. And there has to be something that you are interested in that you can take into Rotary and do it. And if a local club is not doing what it is that you're interested in, you can headline that. You can make it happen. It's not something that we're not going to do. If it fits in with the goals of Rotary, then it's certainly something that's possible to do. And we're looking for leaders. You can lead a new project, new areas.
Hey, Mike, there's a plaque over there, and I can't read it from here, but maybe you'd like to just share real quick. These are some of the things that
2-minute warning.
the Rotarians follow. Dan, maybe you could hand that to him, and we could hold that up. I think this is kind of important. I think these are the things that Rotarians kind of live their lives by. Justin, there it is. Beautiful. Go ahead.
This we recite this at every meeting. The 4-way test. These are things that we think, say, or do, and everything we do has to come up against this and pass this test. And is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? And will it build goodwill and better friendships? And will it be beneficial to all concerned? This is the underlying theme, commitment of Rotary and all the Rotary members. And you know, our motto is service above self.
Right.
So we're, you know, our club and Rotary itself, we're all about service. You know, I attended some Rotary District training sessions back in, throughout the late winter and spring. And I heard on that our club is really well known for service projects and the whole bit. So our club is making a statement.
Okay. Dan, 29, 30 seconds left. What would you like to tell folks?
Well, I would just like to tell them that I'm very proud to be a Rotarian, and I'd like you to be proud to become a Rotarian, because you want to make changes in your community, in young folks, and, you know, internationally. You can make a difference, and Rotary can help you do it.
Okay, and again, the number is 269-9900 if you want to get a hold of Dan and find out more about Rotary, and he'll hook you up with all kinds of good folks. Folks, you've been watching Chautauqua Sunrise. Ran out of time. Mike, you guys come back and tell me about that project you signed up for, the local grant. Folks, we're going to do this again next Saturday morning right here on Access Chautauqua, Spectrum 1301, and around the world. Thanks for joining us. I hope you found that interesting, and there are other Rotary clubs throughout the county, in the state, in the world, the universe, wherever. I'm Doc Hamels. We'll see you next time. Hope we'll have some dry weather next week. Take care. Bye-bye.